Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I talk about those that lust rather than love. Those that lust rather than love. For some of you all, you have come across those individuals who you put two and two together and realize that it's not about love, but it's about lust. It's about a person who lusts after what you provide them, lusts over one's beauty, but there is no love. And in past audio, I talked about 1 Corinthians 13. The individual who lusts does not exemplify loving characteristics. They may pretend initially to win you over, but the true self shows up, and what you are left with is a person who is not very loving. They are lustful. They are selfish. They are self-absorbed. Some of them, unfortunately, have their share of personality disorders that keep them from loving others. And as much as a functional, healthy person would very much want to experience love from someone who has a lot of nice character traits, but love is lacking, you're not going to be able to get through to those individuals when it comes to love. If they haven't experienced functional love, healthy love in their lifetimes, they have a poor concept idea of what love really means. Lust. One is so captivated by what he or she sees, captivated by the feeling. There's the carnality that the church talks about, where one's flesh is overriding one's spirit. The day that you decide that you are not going to appease the flesh of a lust-filled individual, you will see hate show up. You won't see love, you'll see hate. The person will make your life very difficult. They'll put unreasonable demands on you. They will make you feel guilty because you didn't make me feel a certain way. Whatever those positive feelings might be for them. If it's a butterfly feeling, a tingling sensation, their head is up in the clouds somewhere. If you don't keep that going, he or she will assume that you're not being loving toward them. Meanwhile, lust-filled people, they look for shallow feelings. They look for a shallow connection. Lust-filled people want you to swoon like they do about the things that tickle their ears, make their flesh feel good. We know that when you truly love, right? When you truly love an individual, it doesn't matter whether your flesh tingles, your stomach aches when they're around, or you're thinking about them a whole lot or not at all. You still have a love for them, even when they've wronged you, even when they haven't been on their best behavior, right? You still are patient with them, kind. You might have moments where you might be a bit temperamental, but then you come back around and you want very much to make them feel comfortable, happy. You want to work with them, even though we had our major falling outs, you see. Love forgives, love is patient, love is kind. Once again, you can go to 1 Corinthians 13 for more insight on love. But some of us have not felt very loving over the years. This could be decades, depending on how old you are. You recognized long ago when you were a child possibly that the love that you thought was love coming from relatives, coming from a boyfriend or a girlfriend or what have you, really wasn't, because there were things that rose up that showed you If this person really loves like they claim, then they would want to have a connection, a relationship with me. It's not about me performing all the time, me being the good person that listens to everything they tell me, do everything they tell me. And when I mess up, it's okay, it's all right. Selfish people, self-absorbed people, once again, lust-filled people, when you mess up, they hold you to it. They hold you to it. They're not going to turn right around and say, it's okay, it's all right. You have to make them feel good by doing what they want. You have to be like a genie. Your wish is my command. And when you didn't toe the line, you were marked. When you stood up for yourself, you were marked. When you sat there and you didn't move when they told you to move, you're being disrespectful. You're being this and you're being that. And if you did it way too many times, someone, the last thing they were going to say to you, whether good times or bad times, was, I love you. If anything, they were looking to retaliate, looking to fight you, looking to get you to conform, to be the obedient soldier, be the obedient follower. Okay? If you were raised in a strict environment, and I was, it's hard to see where there is love coming from a person who is on your back about any number of things, whether it's your grades, your life decisions, the people you met, how you spend your money, how you save your money, what have you. Strict individuals don't pride themselves on showing off love, much less telling you or talking to you about love. No, they pride themselves on being firm, being in your face, punishing you, telling you what you ought to do. Some of you all, the reason why you struggle in your current relationships is because there simply is no love. You may be the one giving the love while the other person is taking it. You may be the one that has a poor concept on how to love someone. And so you find yourself constantly in some kind of hot water with people because you lack compassion, patience, and all the things that the Lord has spoke to us about that make up love, including God himself. If God is not in my life, and he is not working in me, around me, through me, I can't see, even though people tell me, I cannot be confident in what I believe love to be. There is this misconception as to what love is, what it can be, what it does for me. When one starts to speak out loud about what he or she considers to be so-called loving feelings, he or she may quickly be shut down because anyone who has experienced honest to goodness true love knows that what's coming out of their mouth is contradictory to what they are actually doing. So the man says, I love you, and the woman says, I can't tell. You are out here with this one and that one. You are talking to this one and that one. And the kind of conversation that you're having is not respectful of our relationship. You cannot tell me that you love me because I'm having problems seeing that in you. Because, of course, respect is also a part of loving someone, too. You respect their boundaries. You respect the commitment that you have with them. And some people, once again, if they have been exposed to a bunch of unloving people, they don't see where love is, how love grows, the impact that love makes. And once again, they will not identify with God being love. You can ask some people some spiritual questions related to love and just watch how they respond. And then that will tell you a whole lot as to whether or not they truly love. Okay? When I took a look back down memory lane when it came to my connections, both intimate and not intimate with others, I found that with some people, I could not love them, but simply like or appreciate them because I didn't have a connection to them. There was no communication on a regular basis. We were not building anything. We were simply receiving something in the meantime, whatever that something might be, and then you move on. This sort of connection or lack thereof tends to happen with workplace acquaintances, temporary help, people who come and go out of your life. They are there for a season and that's it. But the ones, though, that you have some type of bond with, love begins to grow. It may grow intimately depending on what type of connection you wish to have, or it may simply grow as a result of friendship. Some people would say love is friendship on fire. Whatever comes of it, you know, though, that there is a healthy response. There is a giving and there's a taking and there's a taking and there's a giving. And this sort of thing is happening between both parties involved. When love isn't present, it is usually a one-sided connection, relationship, partnership, friendship. When love is distant, there is once again a one-sided, lopsided type of connection or disconnect. Okay? People show themselves to be out of love when there is the constant friction, fighting, when there is the impatience, the rude behavior. People show that they never were in love when these sorts of things manifest themselves soon after the dating phase. And some of us were exposed to this sort of thing. We recognize that it was lust. Lust came and it went within a period of so many weeks. The true person or person showed up. And when he or she or they showed up in their real selves, not the pretend person or persons, that is when we realized that I was swindled, bamboozled. They lured me into a relationship that really wasn't a relationship. It was nothing more than the man wanting sex from me, or the woman wanting money, or it was a combination of both. When times got hard, the person didn't fight for the relationship. Instead, they watched you walk right out the door. When times got rough, they did not hesitate to get a piece of paper and write down an exit plan for you. Okay? I mean, we got some folks that when they are past the stage of lust and there is no love, they let you walk away rather easily. Some people will say, well, I mean, I've loved individuals, but I wanted peace. And so I went on and I let people just go, right? Yes. And that is true for some people, but there are those individuals who, I mean, when their emotions are really tied and they've invested so much and they've been there for you, they do put up some kind of resistance, some kind of fight about you leaving. Because I want you. I've done so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I need for you to see that this relationship has great potential. I did not do anything disrespectful or foul to you intentionally. If anything, I was, and then they go on and they explain, and they do change from their wicked ways. Come on. It's like the relationship that you have with the one true God. I love the Lord. I know I love the Lord. That's why I keep coming back to him. I keep changing my evil ways. I keep confessing sin and repenting. I keep getting around the people who God is around. You see, your relationship is proactive when you are in love. Your relationship is not active when you are out of love. That's for somebody, okay? I'm not actively taking you places. I'm not actively getting you involved in my personal affairs. I'm not actively telling you what is going on with me. I prefer to communicate with others about my personal issues rather than you. I am fading you out because I'm no longer in love with you. And some individuals have had to receive this, whether the person verbally told you in the way that I'm telling you, or the person silently told you. And so then what do we do when we see that this sort of thing is happening? We make every effort to disconnect. Okay. For some, it takes days, weeks, months, even years. But there is a disconnect that takes place because I have recognized that you are incapable of loving, or you may have once loved, but it is no more. People do not stay in relationships where they don't feel love. Okay, let me say that again. People do not stay in relationships where they don't feel love. A woman gets tired of seeing her friends, family members, what have you, in loving relationships, and yet she can't have that with her partner. A man gets tired of hearing about all the lovely things his friend's wife is doing for him, but he can't get that. If you're unwilling to work together, then of course you're not going to get what you see other people have. It does require work. And a lot of times people are lazy about keeping up their physical appearance. They're lazy about taking care of their atmosphere. And they're also lazy when it comes to showing love in relationships. I don't feel like it. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. Okay. Don't be surprised when your partner finds love in someone else. Okay. So today is one of those days that for those individuals who are currently in a relationship, you need to step it up if you still have love for your partner and your partner has love for you. If you feel, though, that there is no evidence of love in your connection, relationship, what have you, then it would make good sense to start exiting emotionally, physically, and spiritually from that connection. If you feel that there is the potential to love someone else, someone who you feel has something about him or her that is unique, special, something that is not going to bind you or keep you in some kind of box, that relationship might be worth pursuing in the future, just so long as you have disconnected or separated or divorced from someone else. There is always that potential out there. God does put some interesting people in our lives, and not everybody is an intimate partner. I can tell you that I witnessed a woman who had many friends, both male and female. She was not intimate with any of them. But if you were to sit down and talk with her, she would tell you, I loved those folks. I loved each and every one of them because she worked very hard to have a quality connection with every person who came in her presence. Okay. And some people, they have that about them. If you are lacking that sort of thing, it would make sense to go to the Lord and talk to him about that. I want to be more loving toward people. I don't want to be expecting anything from them. I don't want to be the lust-filled person who's going after them, wanting sex from them or some type of connection that's immoral or ungodly. And God, he works on us all. And I tell you that from personal experience, the best connections that I've had were the ones where I was not intimate with anyone. Come on. And I know some folks can put their hands up because as soon as the intimacy shows up, we're talking about the physical intimacy. As soon as that shows up, it ruins some friendships. There is some truth to that. So blessings to those of you all who took the time out to listen to this message, as well as those who you may not identify with everything that I spoke about, but blessings to you as well, because God wants you to hear a truth that sometimes it's a bit embarrassing to talk to friends and family members about, right? Because you don't want them to think a certain thing. So Thank you as always for showing your support. Please do subscribe to get the latest audio messages. Feel free to like, comment. Also, we do welcome giving. So if you do feel so moved to give, by all means, do so. You can check the description box for any book that might be of interest and also to learn more about this channel. Blessings to you.